Hi guys, it's Josie and today I'm doing the questions about books tag. This tag was originally created online. I will leave a link to the original or where I originally saw this down below, and I wanted to bring this tag to the booktubes. So this is 20 questions all about books. Let's get started. The first question is, what is your favorite book? My favorite book or books are The Fault in Our Stars and The Star Won't Go Out by Esther Earl. I love them both equally as much, so I can't really decide which one is my favorite. The second question is, who is your favorite author? My favorite author is probably John Green, although The Fault in Our Stars is all that I've read by him, but I would say that his way with words is absolutely amazing. Question number 3 is, what genre do you prefer? YA contemporary. Simple as that. If I had to be deserted on a stranded island, I would want a shelf full of YA contemporaries to read. Question number 4 is, what is your favorite book series? Well, my favorite series when I was really little, or like 3rd or 4th grade, was the Joey Pigza series. I really love that series. It was probably my favorite series. And now that I'm reading young adult, I don't really have a favorite series yet. So I would have to go with Joey Pigza. Number 5, what book did you hate reading for school? Well, funny story, I don't really have to read any books for school. Like, that's just how my school system works. But I haven't really hated any of the books I've read. This year, I've only read one book for school, and that was The Giver, and I really enjoyed it. But I've not really hated any of the books I've had to read for school. Question number 6 is, what is the first book you remember reading as a child? With my mom, and sitting down with my mom, the first book I remember reading was I'll Love You Forever. I think that, yeah, I Love You Forever by Robert Munsch. I really loved that book, and that book was the first book I remember like reading with my mom and us sitting down and reading together. Number 7 is bookstores or libraries. Definitely libraries, because I'm a kid, I don't have a job, so buying books is kind of like a privilege for me. Like, I only buy books I really, really love. So I tend to use my library, but when I get a job, of course, I will probably transition more to bookstores. Question number 8 is, how many books do you own? I own between 20 and 30 books, and you're going to think that's kind of really small for a booktuber, but I just recently moved, so I gave away a lot of my books, and I'm really starting my book collection again, so I've accumulated so far about 20 or 30. Number 9 is, do you read before bed? Yes, that is probably the prime time for reading for me, is before bed. Number 10, what is your most comfortable reading position? Mine is on my back. I just always read on my back. I've always read on my back. That's just the most comfortable. Question number 11 is, what is the most recent book you read? Well, the most recent book I read was Winter Girls by Lori Halse Anderson, and currently right now I'm reading 2 books. I'm reading Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins and Small Acts of Amazing Courage by Gloria Whelan. Number 12. What quote from a book will you never forget, and why is it significant? Well, one of my favorite quotes from a book is, my thoughts are stars I can't fathom into constellations. And this is really significant to me in the point of life that I'm at, because I'm really sick right now, and so right now my life is just really confused, and so my thoughts are really stars that I can't fathom into constellations. So that is a quote I will never forget and will always be with me, and I just absolutely love that quote. Number 13 is science fiction or fantasy. Definitely fantasy, but I haven't really read either of them, so I would probably go with fantasy. Question number 14, what books do you regret reading? I don't really regret any books that I read, because I learned something from every book that I read, but I don't really regret reading any books. I think that's just as simple as I can put it. Number 15, how large is your bookshelf? My bookshelf is actually in my closet, which is that door right there, and it's 3 shelves, so it's not really all that big, because my collection isn't all that big right now. Question number 16, on average, how many books do you read per year? I would say between 30 and 45 books, but it's kind of hard to gauge how many books I read per year. This year, I'm shooting towards 60, and I'm right on track to read that many. Number 17, what book can you read hundreds and hundreds of times and never get tired of? Well, I'm going to change this to never not enjoy, and I would probably say I could read The Fault in Our Stars, because you can gain something every time you read that, and you can catch something every time you reread that. I could probably read Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie and probably not get tired of it, and Wonder by R.J. Palacio, which, anyway, there's like a novella coming out for that. I'm so excited. I will leave a Goodreads link down below. The next question is, do you like to read outside? No, it's just simply too distracting. I like to read looking outside, but I don't like to read outside. Question number 19 is, what's the biggest lesson you've learned from books? Well, learned from a book. I recently read a book called The Running Dream by Wendelin Van Dronen, and it's about a girl who loses her leg. And for me, that was really significant because you can have a disability or a handicap, but it's what you do with it and how you make it positive that really determines how you live your life with your disability or your handicap. So I really enjoyed that lesson, and it's really been sticking with me. Although I can't really outlet because I have a disability, I would say that YouTube is my way of expressing myself and being positive with my disability. Number 20, of the past year, what's the greatest book you've read? I would probably say This Star Won't Go Out, The Fault in Our Stars, and The Running Dream. Those are probably my top 3. And that is all the questions. Now I'm going to tag a couple people. I'm going to tag Elena from Got Books, Lindsay from Lindsay Reed, Meg from the Team Book Addict, Cassidy from Cassidy Bonchet, Said the Story Ashley, and Beth from the Bookish Bunny. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!